Warning.
Watch very closely now. 3, 2, 1. Bzow! Check that out.
The following podcast features terrible jokes.
Did you know you can use Hot Wheels cars when you need to make a saving throw in D&D? Every car is die-cast.
Usually about board games.
We want the fun. Gotta have that fun.
Must insist that no one attempt to recreate any joke performed on this podcast.
We had less technical issues than $1 million company.
All right!
This is Boards and Swords.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Boards and Swords. This is a podcast featuring bad jokes, good folks, and some tabletop gaming. Who am I? I'm Chris Renshaw, and I didn't even check the things, but there's the names were in the wrong places. I'll fix that in a second. But featuring my partner in crime, Mr. Philip Herbig. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Apparently today I am Scott. And then as you see the pictures flopping, all right, Scott's in his proper place now.
Yes, we have Mr. Scott Pease from is it from Snapships? Is that the best way to say it, or?
Yeah, that sounds good. I like it. Co-founder of Snapships, something like that.
So those people that aren't Beetle in the chat who regularly talk about Snapships, ask what is Snapships?
Right on. So Snapships Tactics is a tactical miniatures game, a dogfighting sci-fi space combat game that you play in your tabletop. But kind of the unique feature of it is that the ships and the miniatures that you play with are all constructed on the fly out of Lego-like pieces using a connection system that we invented. So kind of the shorthand that everyone uses is if X-Wing and Legos had a baby.
Yep. That's pretty much the way I hashtag Team Snap in the chat room. But yeah, that's kind of the way I saw it. It's like it's X-Wing, but with Legos. And we're going to get more into talking about that. But Philip, we have some news to talk about first.
News!
As I'm realizing that this screen was mixed too. I'm going to blame last week's episode because it was flipped last week. I don't know what happened. All right. So, I got slapped at the airport the other day. I was asking someone how old their bag was, but I guess I heard something else when I said, "What's your bag age?" It's funny because on Philip's screen, I could see the little drum thing.
That pops up on my, yeah.
Yeah, so I will say we're kind of hit in a little bit of a lull right now on some of the news, so I was kind of reaching a bit. But I saw we are getting into kind of Christmassy times. People are getting their lists going. So I saw this article, and I thought it was kind of a good thing to go through. It's fashionable gaming luggage for the discerning player, because you got your games. And most of the time, you're not playing. I mean, a lot of people play games at their house. But if you're going to a store, you have to transport said games somehow. And there's a lot of, the past 10 years, we've had a lot of different types of things come out for carrying these things. Not just for board games, but like miniatures and even RPGs. Like, here's a bag I have, but I have the Think Geek version. But like the bag of holding, the messenger bag of holding from Roll-A-Crit. Oh God, I didn't realize it retails for $150. Jeez, I don't think the one I bought was that.
The Think Geek bag of the black one, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. See that little R inside the D20?
Yeah.
It's like $120 right there.
Probably.
That's what you're paying for.
Then you got like the Venturer's canvas bag, so same thing, but it costs $50 cheaper.
I like that one.
Yeah, that is kind of that one's kind of
extra pockets.
Well, yeah. So does the messenger bag one, has a ton of pockets too. But this one gives me, I think, what was it, Indiana Jones style bags? I thought I saw. Yeah, it looks Indiana Jones classy.
Yeah.
Then you got the here's, oh man, this thing's $100 too. Jesus. Magic the Gathering Guild Summit Archive. I believe Archive is from the Ultimate Guard line, where it's like just a one-stop shop. I think even so the lid. I think this is the lid down here because it like magnetizes and snaps onto the top, so you can carry 10 decks for Magic.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff. That's the Archive 10,000. I like the this one's also cool because like if you don't fill it all the way up, you can put like 5 Magic decks and then like a playmat on here. So then you have like everything to go. And then also for $100, but this one's really cool. It's the this is an official one, BattleTech Field Commander's Case by Catalyst. And it's designed for BattleTech, but they say in here this article it lends itself to being used with other miniatures games and RPGs because it holds like this is the part at the top of the article where it's it holds minis, dice, and like your books. So like if you're playing RPGs. And it's even got looks like pluck foam, so you can it doesn't have to be mech-sized minis. So, yeah, like I said, I just needed. This is more of a filler one, but moving on.
I'm really liking a lot of those bags, man.
Yeah, that Ventures one's really nice, and it made me break out my bag of holding because it was like I do miss it. All right. Have you seen that people use animals to keep their lawn trimmed? I mean, when it comes to lawnmowers, they're the GOAT. This one just boggles my mind. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, which is I realize that game is just a more hobby game version of I don't know. Everybody called it something different. It's a card game. It was called like Egyptian Rat Screw when we were in high school, or like ERS or something like that. Something to that regard where you would put down. It was all about like quickly putting down cards and then slapping and you wanted to be out of cards. And you wanted to like slap everybody to, like for different things, like if there's 2 doubles or like Queen Jack on King or something like that, or all these different rules. But so the Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza is kind of in that same sort of vein. It's a pretty fun game, but now they have one it goes poolside. It's a Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza poolside version, offers the same gameplay with durable waterproof cards designed specifically for outdoor play in environments that are ill-suited to traditional cards. It also includes a travel clip for easy transport. And I have questions. First of all, this seems like poor timing for there to be like this is like a good April or Memorial Day release, not Veterans Day release.
But if you can't make an expansion to Goat Taco Cheese Pizza, you might as well come out with something like this for Christmas.
But
right?
that's the thing is they do.
try to get it in stockings.
This thing is like Munchkin, where they flavor that all the dang time with all the different ones. Also, happy Veterans Day, thanks to everyone that's served. I gotta put that in there. But secondly, it's like, is anybody really asking for poolside board games?
I was just thinking, like, man, if I didn't have to actually invent an entire expansion and I could just waterproof my cards and put that out, please sign me up for that. That sounds way easier.
Yeah, just go laminate. Yeah, $15, or you could just go to take your copy to Kinko's, FedEx Kinko's, and laminate it for probably about the same amount of money.
I do think snap ships float though, so you might be okay there.
I was just thinking, I'm like, does the plastic float? I mean, do we need to make it out of a different?
The ships, yeah, I think you're good on the ships. The cards, not so much.
You just have to get like some buoys to like. You just got to get some buoys to like line up your space. No, you just need to make.
So now I want to grab some of those Lego engines and like strap them to the snap ships and make little submarines now.
No, I was thinking the opposite direction. If we just need like floaty size snap ships that you could just like set in the water and they'll float, and then like you could push them some to like start going in a direction,
We could start a whole line of pool accessories for snap ships. Let's make giant the big floats that people lay on.
Or like the cubes, and then you could like connect them together. You got to blow up each one individually.
Oh, that'd
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about measuring your range and such in the pool. That might be
Pool noodles.
lead to a lot of arguments.
Pool noodles. That's all you got to do.
There we go. Those are a standard-ish size.
Yeah.
I'm taking it.
Hoser 40K says waterproof cards are perfect for the Pacific Northwest for a different reason. Yeah, so like for instance, talking about like other ways they've themed this. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizzas has spawned a 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup edition and a stand-up follow-up version with new cards called Wild Wild Taco. So, like, they're not hurting for game ideas. I've made a couple of floating warships from snap ships, floated them in the tub. There you go. That's the way to go. So yeah, the timing was the biggest thing, and then secondly, it was like that seems like a big. That's is this the new trend? Like we had different trends in gaming. Are we going to start getting poolside versions of everything?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, I mean, poolside Munchkin's going to have my money.
Oh, speaking of which. This is off
Poolside
topic.
Munchkin?
No. This just talking about the different random versions of things. I got thinking of it because it was the FIFA Women's World Cup, and like I saw a game I was at Walmart, and they have like an Uno game that looks like a CCG, and it's like football characters. It's like Uno Arena or something like that, where like it's like a deck full of like sports characters that you use for Uno. But it comes in like the little square boxes like Magic the Gathering decks used to come in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Really weird. So, all right. I want to get my cat a birthday present, but I'm not sure what gift will be the perfect gift for them. Again, talking about trends and stuff. City of Games reveals Isle of Cats Duel, a new December release. It's a new competitive standalone game set in the world of Isle of Cats. In this game, players compete head-to-head as citizens of Squall's End as they rescue cats before Lord Vesh arrives. Cats are represented by unique tiles and belong to families, of which players must try to keep together on their boat. Yeah, so the way the original game works is you have like a boat and all the cats are like laying in weird awkward poses because they're cats. So they're polyomino shapes. And you have to like fit as many of them on your boat as you want, but you also want like of the same color because you get more points the more cats of like the same color you have. But you're also trying to fit as many cats as possible. And apparently Oscar heard the word cat. So this one will be like a 2-player version. And replaces the card drafting portion with a new movement mechanic, which players will have to master to become the ultimate cat rescuer. Plays in 30 minutes. Obviously, the game is for 2 players. I don't think I ever got you to play Isle of Cats.
It does not sound familiar.
I lent it to Jimmy and Corey, and we played it once. It was one of those like I played it at my house, and then Corey and Jimmy were like, "Can we take this home and play it more?" I'm like, "Okay." I believe like my copy I ended up getting from one of the there was the I don't know if you remember the bead and puzzle store that used to be in the shopping center.
Oh, yeah.
When they closed down, they had a bunch of board games on clearance, and I got it from there.
Oh, nice.
So, and everything's.
Yeah.
I think literally. What? Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were about to say something. Literally in the last show, I think we talked about there was going to be an Azul duel, and now we're in the Eye of Cats duel. And I was in the game store and saw that they have King of Tokyo duel. Like that's the thing now.
So this is the new trend.
This is
Poolside duels.
This is the Well, that already exists, and it's called Get Your Pool Noodles and Super Soakers Out.
Is Duel the first to start the trend?
Is what?
Seven Wonders Duel, the first game that started this trend of
I-
like two-player adaptations?
It is one of the first. I don't know. I don't know if it's the first, but it is one of the first because that came out like 5-6 years ago.
Well, it's a great game.
Yeah. Snapship's
Snapship
Tactics Duel.
Duel.
That's just called Snapship Tactics.
Exactly.
Oh, now I realize. You know what? I figured out the market for the Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza poolside. It just occurred to me that it's not necessarily for when you're in the pool, but this is when you take the family to the pool and all the kids are playing with their friends and you're there with all the parents and you're bored and you play this, but the
And
kids
they got something to do.
and they got something to do, but they're splashing water everywhere. You don't want to get your game all ruined. That's what that game's for.
All right, there we go. We found the market for
We
it.
found the market. I saw some pop figures for real cheap, so I bought a bunch. Turns out they were knockoffs. I figured that out when my place started smelling awful. Turns out they were Funko. Funko. Funko's not even in the market anymore for games, but I saw this, and this just kind of came with a duh. Funko sees warning signs in consumer behavior. Funko seeing warning signs in consumer behavior, which are leading it to cut its sales guidance for Q4, the company said with its financials release on Thursday. We're seeing some indications that consumers are increasingly looking for value, which, among other things, has resulted in certain wholesale customers remaining cautious ahead of uncertain customer spending during the holidays. Now, like, we're not gonna take this into a political realm, but I'm just gonna say, way to read the frickin' room, Funko, on like just economy wise. Like, tell me something I didn't already know. As far as like, just consumer spending in general, it's like, well, yeah. When food's expensive, you don't necessarily, and I find it funny for Funko when it's like they're looking for value, which a Funko Pop doesn't really provide.
Can't eat a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
You can try.
I mean, it also is like it doesn't do like you sit and look at it. It's all like you collect them, sure. That gives you that dopamine rush, but it depends on value. I guess there are some that are. I guess if you're in the Funko Pop space, there are probably some that technically have value, like the collectors. But yeah, I saw that. I was sitting there flipping through articles, and I was like, no shit, Sherlock.
There we go. Beatles got the solution. You want value? Buy a Snapships kit. Or 5.
Yeah. I mean, there are 6 ships in one in the core box.
Yeah, right. What does that Funko do? It just sits on your shelf, right?
Exactly. Unless you have the
People don't
game.
even take them out of the box.
Unless you have the game where you could put them on the board. I still think that the Funkoverse game should have been with the full-size Funko Pops.
Yes.
So it's like just use whatever. Here,
Those
download.
people already had them.
Yeah. Also,
guys,
hi,
so
Mike,
new
in the
stuff.
chat. So, yeah, I just saw that, and we're gonna see, especially we're getting ready for Black Friday. I feel like this is just going to be the never-ending wave for the next like 2-3 months of like nobody's buying anything. The worst Black Friday in years. Just prepare
Black Friday starts on Tuesday
of this week.
of this week. Yeah.
You joke, but
Well,
like
let me think. I'm trying to remember from when I worked at Walmart.
actually, yeah. When last week when I was opening up the Walmart app, it's like Black Friday deals are here.
I think there's already Easter stuff going into the back room right now,
Oh wow.
and it's November.
Yeah, I used to see that. I worked a summer at Hobby Lobby, and it was like like Christmas stuff would roll in at like July, literally Christmas in July. And I was like, what the heck? And they're like, it's all the people that make stuff for Christmas. They have to have it now.
Yep.
Like the people that make crafts and stuff. So, Anyways, last story. I saw The Quickest Fight recently. Someone went to hit this guy, but luckily it whiffed really badly. Then some people went to break it up. Looking back, it wasn't even really a fight. It was more of a skirmiss. So this was really popular in some of the local circles, and clearly it's popular online as well. So there's a new Kickstarter for a minis game called Trench Crusade, and it's already broke. Like, I think it released on Kickstarter last week, and this article's from a couple days ago, and it's already breaks $1.7 million and continues to grow. So
Wow.
it's a new Kickstarter skirmish war game. It's shaking things up with their own bit of alternative World War I heresy. They've crushed 1.7 million so far, and it says in 1099 the Templars took the holy city. Sealed deep within the catacombs beneath, they discovered a blasphemous artifact which tested their faith and found it wanting. Blinded by greed and with weakness in their hearts, they fell to their knees in supplication to a new blasphemous lord. Thus came. This is basically if Horus Heresy happened in World War I.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
Whose game is that? Like, what's their pedigree?
I believe, actually, yeah. So one of the games designers is worked on Mordheim and Warhammer 40k 6th edition. So there is some Games Workshop stuff behind it. Yeah. Okay. So Mike's saying
Kickstarter says Factory Fortress Inc.
Kickstarter already broke $2 million, and
it's at 2.9.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
18 hours to go. Also, I know they did this on purpose. The goal, the pledge goal, $66,666.
Oh man, I was like, lead artist is the Diablo artist. Wow, I can see that. You know, I was trying to stay out of this because people were talking about it, but I'm seeing
Now
this.
you're looking at the minis.
I'm looking at the minis. So the first thing is you can get it. You can get it just an STL file version. So it's you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff. Here's all the stuff. I think that's what a bunch of people at our local area are doing is everybody's chipping in to get the big pledge to get all the STLs. I like this. I like this Shrine Anchorite. Look at this bad boy.
Yeah, that guy's kind of cool.
Huh.
Oh, and the Heretic Legion. So wait, those were the Trench Pilgrims.
I keep reading that as French pilgrims.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah,
I see it.
There.
Heretic Legion, the Anointed with the Heavy Flamer. That looks cool. Death Commando. That guy looks like a Necron almost. That's Sin Eater. Yeah. Oh, there's some more factions. Cool.
That's impressive. How many backers are they at for 2.9 million?
I would imagine
over
a lot.
17K.
Oh, wow. I did not realize there were this many different factions. Damn it. I'm going to have to look into this now.
You have 18 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'll just hey, guys, let me get in on that Kickstarter.
Yeah, let me. What's the pool at now? We're going to.
Yeah. Oh, I keep going. There's just more.
There's a terrain pack, too.
There's Brazen Bull. Look, it's just a giant Taurus with a big, huge gun.
Oh, yeah, that's
Amalgam.
That is their first created Kickstarter too, that company, and that is
well, yeah, because I
amazing to
imagine
do.
it's all these people have done
3 million.
all different things, and this is just their first collaboration together.
Still, to get that amount of news and buzz out there to get to 3 million is super impressive.
Yeah. And then it looks like it's going to ship in target of June or July 2025. So that, even after the Kickstarter ends, there's bound to be other version or late backing and stuff, which apparently Kickstarter does now.
Yeah,
they do have a 666 pledge, which is pretty impressive.
That's what he was talking about.
They have a 666 pledge. They've got an 888 pledge.
Yeah, it's really I don't even. Okay, so you can get just cool. You can get a physical copy of the Trench Crusade book and a warband of your choice for $85. That's not bad. you imagine like the rule book is roughly around 60. Like if this was a Games Workshop product, that would be $60. So then $25 for a band, or you
Yeah.
know, that's pretty good. All right, I have to go rejoin that channel on. Yeah, I was looking at the roster and like Graham McNeil, Gavin Thorpe. These are GW writers. Like they write like Horus Heresy and like 40K lore books.
Mm.
And I think Andy Chambers either did work there or used to work there or does work there now. I think he was there. I think that's the guy that does Cult of Paint, I want to say. I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, so this was one of those like cuz every like so when people were talking about this, every like month or week in our local Discord, there's like a new game that somebody's discovered and trying to get everybody to go in on, right? So that's what I thought this was. And so I was kind of like, I don't need another game. So I'm just going to avoid it, but oh, I'm thinking Andy Wardle. Okay. But yeah, so if it's after today when you're hearing this, then go check out just search for Trench Crusade and Kickstarter, or look in the show notes. We'll have links to the Kickstarter, and I'm sure there'll be late pledge stuff there. But this does look really cool. And with that, that's it for the news. So let's turn back to Sky here and talk about so. How did we get Snapships? Because it didn't start with the game, unlike most games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see if I can give the short version here. Basically, I originally had an idea to do a game that used modular miniature stuff, but I didn't know anything about how to go about that because my background is in the video game industry. So I worked with a buddy, my co-founder Jeff. And we started prototyping like a game and a modular system. And what we found pretty quickly was trying to do both at the same time was kind of madness. Like it was going to be too expensive, too hard, too many dependencies. So we decided after playing a system that maybe we should just focus on the toy line first. And so we came up with this dual material connection system. And we took that to a toy company called Play Monster, and they were super into it. They licensed the idea from us, and they launched the Snapships toy line, which had no gameplay component at all, right into the pandemic in 2020. So
perfect timing.
That was, yeah. So that was a little tough sledding. We were in Target for a while, but the work that they did on the toy line was just phenomenal. Like they took our concept and our connection system and just sort of expanded the whole universe. They ended up making 22 kits or 22 ships in all for the toy line, and that ran for a couple of years. And then as that was kind of winding down a little bit, we returned back to the original idea of like, well, my thought was always to do this as a game. And while that was kicking around in my brain, on our toy Discord, this guy pops up who is like one of the most incredible Snapships builders ever. His name is Josh Dirksen. And we had like a community build segment. We're talking to him and we're like, oh, hey, Josh, what do you do for a living? You're amazing at building. And he's like, oh, I design tabletop games. So we were like, what? And it turns out Josh, at that point, was maybe best known for designing this an X-Wing fan-made campaign system called Heroes of the Aturi Cluster. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
But it is a incredibly popular, X-Wing add-on that Josh designed.
Yeah.
And he, as part of that, designed a whole kind of like RPG system for X-Wing and like scenarios and an AI system that could fly against you and all kinds of stuff. So we just got chatting and we were like, well, we wanted to kind of do something like this with Snapships all along. And so we collaborated with Josh and his company, Linvander Studios. And took the system that we had and built it out into a full-fledged tactical miniatures combat game that I think holds its own against, any other miniatures game out there. And we launched that onto Kickstarter in 2023. And unlike the toy line, this time, this was all under our control, Jeff and my control, and along with working alongside Lynn Vander. And so we launched the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter was, for us, a great success. And then the game came out a year later. And now we're about a year into it. And we're just trying to push forward and keep expanding and keep building on what we have. And, going forward, the toy line and the game line are all going to be united together and sort of moving forward in lockstep.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it when it was just in the toy form at like an PAX Unplugged, like just out of when they first started having them again after the pandemic. When there wasn't like a game yet, it was just like, oh, one is coming.
That was us. Yeah, we were there, and we were selling the toy line in advance of while we were developing the game, as a way to help fund our convention presence and kind of get Snapships into more hands and get people to understand, what the building side of it's all about. And we sold a lot of those kits prior to the game coming out, and then we have card packs that can kind of like backport your toys if you already own them into Tactics, so you don't have to buy everything again. Right.
But it sounds like some are Rustabile in chat says, I might have just bought 3 more Trident gunships a minute ago.
Yeah, the original toy line, there's still some inventory around, but it's very much dwindling now at this point, and is getting kind of cleared out. And then, all the Tactics stuff for the most part is in stock, and then kind of moving forward that way.
Is that kind of the plan forward now, is to kind of like, it'll be mostly just pushing the stuff that works with Tactics now?
It's kind of a little bit of both. Like, we want to continue to bring some of those early kits, like for example, the Trident, like is a super cool kit that it's like a bigger ship with like 2 drones that come off of it. And so we want to bring all that stuff into the Tactics ecosystem, but developing the game content alongside that takes a lot of time. And then we want it to be balanced and fit well with what we're doing. So there's going to be kind of a slow burn over time. We got some new things coming out soon, where we bring more and more of those kits into the Tactics universe and support them completely with cards and new game mechanics and new components in some cases to make sure everything works on the tabletop.
Yeah, so just to explain, also to go in more detail in case nobody's played Snapship Tactics. So if you've played games like X-Wing, there is some pieces that will be familiar. Like you've got basically a mini on a base that's got like your arcs on it for different weapons. But the way the game works is you've got your card for your ship, and then you've got all the different things that incorporate into the ship. So you've got just like the core chassis, and then if you upgrade the engines, it's literally like you put a new part on the ship. Or like, if I don't have missiles, I have lasers. It means you like pop the missile things off and you put these little laser things on there as well. So like that part was really cool because it's not just a matter of, I'm running these things because that's the most It's like it physically changes the model when you like put something else on there.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like these guys are, completely modular.
Yeah.
And they snap together in a way that's just like you can just pull them apart on the fly, pull weapons off, swap new equipment in, rebuild your ship. And you can kind of just do that over and over again because you're not like snipping things and gluing them together and like, coming up with a fixed miniature. Although I think once they're all kind of fit together and you put all the greebles on and everything, sometimes you can't even tell that they're modular.
Yeah.
It's one of the marketing problems we sometimes face is people just assume they're glued together fixed ships, and we're like, no, you can bust these all apart and mix and match and combine them together and get creative with it.
In fact, it doesn't even need to look like a ship. It's just as long as the components are all You just have like a little Borg
Yeah,
sphere.
well,
There you go, Philip. Build a
cool
Borg
sci-fi
sphere.
ships come in all shapes and sizes. Yeah, some of them are blocky, some of them are sleek and jet-like, and we super love seeing what people come up with our building system. Like the stuff that they build with this system is just leagues beyond anything we ever
Oh
could have
yeah.
imagined when we designed the system. And like people take it to extreme ends of the spectrum. We have people who build battleships that are literally 4 feet long, just
Jeez.
out of the same components and cubes that the small ships that you see on there are built out of.
That's why
It's,
Rusty don't need to buy 3 of them.
it's crazy.
That is what. Yeah.
He needed to add an
and
additional 2 feet onto it.
and he's got to have like 12 bases supporting it underneath there.
Oh, like he says, it's literally a WYSIWYG game of what you see is what you get.
Yep. Yep. And like the way that we built it, so you build your miniature and then you have cards that represent each component that you kind of put on your ship, and those sit in front of you, and those cards give you your actual battlefield abilities. So
Yeah.
depending on the way that you equip your ship, it's going to determine exactly how it plays in fights on the battlefield. So you can it's kind of like a deck builder in that sense, that you can build a ship that's super fast and nimble, but maybe doesn't have a lot of armor and a lot of weapons, or you can try to build some big chunky armored gunship, but it's not going to be able to maneuver all that well. So there's a lot of build variety that you can play around with, and then you just got to get it on the tabletop and then test it against your friends' builds or against the AI builds and see how it performs.
Yeah, and there's a lot of decisions in the game while you're playing, because you have all the like you said, all the parts that give you your actions, but you only have so many action cubes, and you can only remove so many cubes on your turn. So you have to do this, like, do I want to go whole hog now, or
Yep.
do I wait a turn and kind of put more into maneuvering, or do I get myself set up for a good spot? Whereas like in other games, it's like, oh, with X-Wing, what does it hurt? It doesn't hurt anything, like in something like X-Wing, for me to take. If I'm in range, I might as well take a shot. Well, in Snapships, it's like, okay, that's going to put heat and use up some of my energy, and I'm not going to be able to shoot it again until I remove all that. But I really wanted to remove the cubes off of my thrusters so I could do this big U-turn kind of thing, because I'm getting towards the edge of the board. So
Yeah, I remember the Penny Arcade guys played it, and I think Jerry was saying, like, he's like, it's so cool. I'm playing a little Euro game with my ship on the side over here.
Kinda,
trying
yeah.
to decide how to
like a
allocate
very
my
light
power and
Yeah.
and that's definitely part of it. Like we made the decision early on, and in retrospect, it's an obvious one, right? Like, I mean, in X-Wing, you're usually dealing with squadrons of a ton of different ships. We have bigger ships, so what we do is we kind of simulate more what's going on with each individual ship. So it's almost like, yeah, you're playing with less ships overall, but what each ship can do and all the different options that you have with each ship when it takes its turn is a lot deeper.
And I mean, you can play it because it's only like it's like the same size board, so like 3x3 as recommended. So like, Philip, how long did when we played? It was like 30 minutes, I want to say. Like when we actually got
yeah.
into playing, and that's
I was about
just
to
for
say,
one
yeah.
ship versus one ship, and of course you could scale it up as much as you want from there, depending on what you have.
Yep, that's what our kind of intro game is, like one ship versus one ship. If you know what you're doing, you can play that in 25, 30 minutes, and then just rebuild your ships and try again. But the game does get a little deeper and a little more interesting as you add squadrons to it. So you play two ships versus, your opponent has two ships, or even 3v3. And we've run tournaments online and things like that with more ships. And the beauty of the game, the system too, is it is all modular. So we made sure it would work on a 3x3 because that's what every game store has.
Yeah.
But if you got more room, there's no reason you can't scale it up. We the first version of Snapships Tactics was 4x4, and And then we showed it to some retailers, and they were like, "You're insane. You need to do you need to have a 3x3 version." So, because otherwise we just won't have room at our store to ever play this. And so we were like, okay, so we kind of scaled things down. But if you've got more room, you can play 3x6, 4x8, even odd size shapes. It all just works because the movement is free form, and you can just lay out enough terrain and battle it out that way.
Yeah, and eventually, kind of one of the ways to, at least locally, I'm gonna try and get people in there is I want to do like a 2v2, but with like a different person controlling each ship.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic way. So when I was last at Adepticon, I think we heard from a store, and the way they played, they totally built this themselves. Super sounds awesome. They play on a 3x6 Armada mat. They play 5v5.
Oh my gosh.
Squadrons with a different person controlling every single ship.
That sounds like so much
and
fun.
So it's a team battle. And then what they do, which I thought was amazing, is one person on each side is sort of the captain of that team.
Yeah.
And passing them to their teammates to simulate sort of like lack of communication during battle. They can kind of give them ideas of what to do, but everyone's kind of operating on their own. It sounds totally amazing.
I bet. That's awesome. So yeah, I will have to say though that like when I was playing it like the first time, because so you have, just like X-Wing, you have like the cardboard obstacles that when I was playing it, I was just stuck in an X-Wing mind frame of like, don't go near the asteroids. And then come to find out like, no, you want to go near them because you need to use them for cover to block out missiles and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That was another thing. I think, Josh coming over from X-Wing was like one of his, I think, brilliant ideas is to make all the cover beneficial.
Yeah.
So like all the obstacles in our game act more like cover in like a war game. Like, you want to be in the woods shooting out or whatever. And they all give a benefit when you overlap them. So there's a ton of play that isn't immediately obvious to you until you get a few games under your belt around basically utilizing the terrain to your advantage. And all of our advanced, super skilled players are just masters at using the terrain and knowing how to move so they get their ship just inside that terrain. So it's giving them a cover bonus. And I think in a lot of cases that can kind of turn the tide of battle essentially and let you, eke out a victory.
Quick, hide behind the pile of dead barns.
Yes.
That one's for you, Philip. Rusty Beetle asks.
I'm checking all these out on like Amazon, just looking at all the Snapship kits.
Yeah.
I'm gonna strap a couple engines onto a couple of these mechs, and we're gonna fight that way.
Or you could just build legs out of.
We do have one mech kit and a couple of vehicles, and that always comes up at conventions or whatever. People are just like, "When are you doing mechs? When are you doing mechs?" But we'll get there eventually.
I'll just put some engines on one of the spots.
Yeah, we were looking at one of the toys where it was like a loader that had like a little drone that it dropped kind of thing. It's not in tactics, but before we looked at that, we were like, what would that do in the game? And we're thinking like, oh well, maybe you drop it on like an asteroid and it just turns into like a little turret and just starts shooting anything around it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, even without official support, people are already playing with that kind of stuff. Like we have some community members who just build their own scenarios and they construct mech-like kind of mecha ships that are still in the stands, and they come up with a rule set and they can just play them like it all just kind of blends smoothly into the tactics system. So we aren't sticklers like that. We encourage all kinds of casual play like that, and people to get creative and use it however they like.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing Rusty Beetle said, Philip. Like, you don't need to buy the mech kits. You just build legs using the other parts.
There we go.
He says, trust me, I've done several.
One of the spider tank, it's got like actual molded spider-looking legs.
Oh.
I got to get that one.
And I mean, the other thing is like, the kits, like we were seeing them on Amazon, they're like $10, $15.
Oh yeah, they are
depending on which one.
Extremely reasonable price.
And I think it's 60 for the base box of Tactics, or did I get there? Is it 75?
70.
70. Okay, I was just all over the place. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, considering, I don't know. Let me pull up the picture of Philip, to just the size of scale. Like, we're not talking X-Wing sized ships. Like, this is,
no,
it's going to be, it's like holding 2 palms kind of sized ships.
These are closer to huge class X-Wing ships.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's like, we're able to do that a little bit because of that, that toy line, coming first and striking a lot of the molds for us and everything. We can keep things. We're definitely priced, I think, more towards that end of the spectrum than something like a Warhammer, where it's just like, you get a piece of plastic this big for $75 or whatever.
I don't know.
And you're happy about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I agree. I think they're kind of an insane value. And honestly, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever taken apart the connection system, but it's a little bit of a more complicated thing in that it's made out of multiple materials, and the cubes are all they have like a softer inner core, and so the cubes are welded around that, and that's what makes the snap fit thing work and not wear out. It's not like a lot of toy kits are just plastic on plastic, and so all those connections will wear out over time and get looser and looser, and that's not what we did with snap ships at all.
Gotcha.
We wanted these things to hold together really tightly, like for their life, for years. And that was the goal.
Yeah, they come with minis, just very, very small minis. The ships that have like little cockpits that you can put the little pilots in.
Yeah, there is. Yep, there are little tiny pilots that can fit in there. Yep.
Yeah,
the pilots articulate.
What was that?
Yep.
Oh yeah, and they articulate.
Yeah, they got a waist on them. Yeah, man, you don't see that in some of those really tiny.
So we did get one question. Did I read that there will be a revised card pack for Wasp/Falx?
You did read that. So that is the Wasp and the Falx are an existing toy kit that sold out completely. And they provide some bigger ships in the Tactics system, and a ton of cool parts. So we're actually going to bring that back next year. It's going to come out with some new colorways and all the cards packed in there. And I think the card pack will be fairly identical, other than some paint changes to the existing Wasp and Falx, with maybe one piece of errata in there that we changed. One card we wanted to kind of make a little bit better, tweak it a bit.
You're getting recommendations in the chat, Philip. You need to buy a couple of Tridents.
I did see that. I'm like,
And the complex ships says they're great for creepy crawlers. So, is there plans to make like bigger, these are more on the scale of like fighters, but like huge like mothership style ships? Like, what's the future as far as snap ships goes?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, like what we have, so we class our ships right now. See if you can see in that picture, there might be like a class 3, which is like our little scouts, and then class 4, which is the kind of the standard size ships you get in the starter box. And then the Wasp and the Falx, which we were just talking about, are class 5 ships. So going forward, we're going to go smaller and bigger, because we want to give squad builders the ability to have even more point options at their disposal. I'll just say, we've got a good handle on what I think we want to do with big ships, but it's a big, big undertaking, because it does change a lot of things under the hood in terms of making those big ships work within our system. So that's probably a little further out, but we're looking at it.
And apparently I need to ask about 3D printing snap ships.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, what about 3D printing? Because they are one of the other cool things about our system is that because print your own custom pieces, and they will snap in and work just as well as our injection molded pieces. So we do have on our Discord, we got a community of builders who are always posting like cool STLs for new parts. We did put out a few 3D printed parts as part of the Kickstarter. It's just like a bonus thing. And those are kicking around. And but yeah, we really encourage people to kind of come up with their own pieces and share them around to others.
And then the other question I had when you were talking about with Josh and having the pedigree of the Heroes of the Tari cluster, is there going to be any official sort of campaign mode to kind of give you that RPG sort of aspect?
I think at some point, I mean, we definitely want to go there. We're perfectly set up for that, right? Like we give you a ton of AI decks in the box, in the starter box, and then there are more AI decks in all of our expansions as well. So already there's like a huge host of ships that you can play against, and you can set up your own sort of co-op scenarios. But yeah, not yet is there a official campaign or kind of RPG mode. Although some people online again have started coming up with their own and sort of posting some of that stuff online. Something definitely we want to do. It's probably just even further down the line than say big ships.
Yeah, I feel like this is perfectly scratched that kind of X-Wing itch, given that since that game is kind of gone, or at least, people are still playing it a ton, but official support is now gone for it.
Right.
And there's the Lego itch that this also scratches for me. So like combining those two is just awesome.
And have you tried that? Have you tried to play against the AI?
I have not played against the AI yet. I've only done the kind of 1-on-1v1.
Because I mean, I think it is actually a kind of a really cool aspect of the game. Josh was able to leverage what he had done before and make a system that I think the ships are even tougher. They fly really well, and it's actually really fast to operate. If you're just playing like a solo game, you can run the AI through its paces, and it'll put up a good fight against you.
Yeah, I haven't done real well against human players, so I'm not looking forward to tougher AI players. Although maybe I need to play more against that to get my skills up.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about the AI is if you have a baseline, kind of how tough the AI is, then you can experiment with building your own ships and just run them against the AI as a kind of a quick test to see, is this ship gonna work out or not?
That's kind of cool from a tournament level where it's like you don't need to do a whole bunch of like trying to schedule play tests with other people. Like it's like, oh, I only got like 3 games in before the tournament. Where it's like, no, you can just sit at your house and just play a bunch real quick.
Yep. We definitely have people who do that.
Is PlayMonster going to produce more runs of the existing kits?
No, they are done producing kits, and all the rights have reverted back to us at Snapships. So we'll be, as those things go out of stock, we'll be looking to reprint them, but in most cases we will try to get tactics stuff packed in as well.
But that just makes it even, or just the expensive part's done with like the injection molds.
Yeah. Well, I don't think any of this would work if those molds didn't already exist. I mean, we are striking new molds for like accessories and some new parts that we have coming out relatively soon, and new accessories and things like that. But yeah, the molds are, especially when you're talking about a modular toy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
People probably don't understand that, but like, you could strike molds for 10 minis, and like you can probably get a bunch of minis in some molds, but then we have there are hundreds of pieces that make up the Snapship system. So every new kit has to strike a whole bunch of different molds just to make that one kit have enough unique, cool pieces to kind of warrant existing, and it's a big investment.
Yeah, but you guys do as part of the rights reverting, you guys fully own the molds now under yours. You don't have to license them from somebody else.
We have access to them, yeah. yeah, they all exist, and it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of molds.
Oh, I can
for the
imagine.
whole line. It's cool.
Or apparently, I need to ask about getting advice on how to play because apparently me sucking at it. But no, I just need to play it more. That's what I need to do. I just need to play more. And also, questions. So he asked, how do you get more people to play short of sending them copies of the game? Because literally, that's how he got me to play the game. Is he shipped me the core box to try out. But
I mean, honestly, yeah. Yeah, so that is the best way, unfortunately. I wish I had a magic solution where I could just get it into every single hobby shop, because I think one of the awesome things about Snapships is that if you do set it up on a table, it will draw eyes and interest, because people who don't know what it is will be like, what is this thing
yeah,
that looks like Legos and a game? And then the other thing I think that naturally happens is people need to get their hands on it.
Yeah.
Like, we can kind of tell you it's like Legos and that the things hold together really tightly and it's fun to build and all that kind of stuff, but it's still an abstract concept until you literally get one in your hand and you start breaking it apart and building and futzing with it. And so that's like, when we go to conventions, we always have a build table of just parts for people to like pick up some cubes and start snapping them together. And then before you know it, they're like sitting there for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes building their custom spaceship, like right then and there. So
it's
so
like
that's
the
a big
bin.
part
It's
of
like
it.
the free
And
play bins at the Lego store that they'll have.
exactly. So, to the extent that people who are fans of the game can get it out there into the public eye at their local game store, man, we super appreciate that. Because it is the way to getting, more eyes on it. And then, we're running, for people who can't get to a game store, we are trying to run tournaments and things on our Discord. We do them through Tabletop Simulator. There's a pretty comprehensive mod that I actually built that they use for tournaments, and so
Nice.
we run those. There's been a few tournaments run on a monthly basis on there as well, so people can kind of get their fix playing that way too.
Nice. Yeah, because honestly, I know Rusted Beetle's not a people person, but going to a store and just visibility, like that table presence, is really the kind of big thing. Where and this is, I mean, but this works for like any miniatures game. It just works more so because of the table presence of Snapships. I found is like, what you got to do is, if you're into a game and you want to get like other people into the game, and I think what's that called? Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions says you need to be an ambassador of that game, where it's just like you are getting people. Let me run you a demo. Let me run you a demo. Let me run you a demo. Just like someone's like, hey, let me run you a demo of this game I'm really into. You'll have it's super fun. You'll enjoy it. Get like 4 people kind of involved and play it at a public space where other people are looking at it, and then just kind of keep pestering them. Like, hey, one of you guys want to play Snapships this week, until they start buying it. And then once you've gotten, 3 to 4 people that have bought their own stuff, that's when you start getting this kind of like, that kind of like core movement to start like it naturally kind of expanding on its own.
Yeah, for sure.
But what is there anything big up on the horizon? I know you got PAX Unplugged coming out, or coming soon, and we'll both be there, so check that out. But
yeah, no, PAX is going to be awesome. We've got a big booth there. We are going to have a couple of new products on preview at PAX Unplugged. So people will be able to test them out, play with some new components and some new parts. I don't want to give too much away because we're going to be announcing it like literally this week, I think. But yeah, it's that stuff will be there, and I think that'll be pretty exciting to see more options for you to customize your ships with and take onto the battlefield.
I think the biggest thing was the first time I played the game, and this was like the cool part of it. We were doing a kind of miniatures game night at our local library, and we were playing it, and this guy and his kid were kind of like walking through. We had like we were also testing out the new Halo game from Mantic,
Mhm.
and then we were playing that, and the kid points at the box, is like, "Oh, is that Snapships?" And he starts talking to his dad all about Snapships, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a game." And he's like, "Whoa, really? They made a game for it?" And I just thought that was super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of our kind of unique appeals is that, coming from a toy line, it is kind of a pretty easy to play gateway miniatures game, right? So if you're a dad or a mom and you've got like kids that are just kind of getting into the age of like being able to take on heavier miniatures games, like I think it is a great way to introduce it to them because you get to play with big chunky ships and they're indestructible. Like, you're not going to like drop your $100 model and have it shatter on the floor or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I think the kids are just into the whole kind of creativity of just building the different ships as well. And you get that, as part of the game. So I don't know. I think, I don't know how we reach those families, but we've heard from a lot of them. And those are some of the folks that show up over and over at conventions as well, are families that want a miniature game together.
Yeah, I think I honestly probably like the library piece is one way of just showing it off to people, and like so many libraries have like a kid zone, and just having some of that stuff built out there, even if it's just the toy part, and then having like a flyer that says, if you like this, there's also a game kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all right, because we hadn't done a game show in a while, I wanted to make sure we had one. And it's a modification of one we've done before. So, by the way, Hoser 40K, all you need is just the base box, and that's $70, and that gets you two ships, 2 factions, and all the dice and obstacles and everything you need. And then it's more of like, if you want extra stuff, like to be able to do if you want to have multiple ships on the same side, then you need either a second core box, or there's the stand kit that you can get to put more of the ships on. Did I get that right, or is there a better
the
to
stand
that?
pack gives you the components and stands so you can field more ships at the same time, and then you can buy expansion packs. So we have like the little scout ships expansion pack and all the expansions, of course, mix and match with the stuff in the starter box, like all the components. So you can like take the pieces off the scout ships and like slap them on your starter box ships to make them different and play, uniquely as well. So,
and each of the ships in the starter box have like 3 versions that you can build. So there's a lot of
actually 4, yeah,
4
each.
versions. Okay.
Yeah. But again, those are like, we give you those like the instruction books come with these, like we call them base builds, know, that like show you how to build all these ships. But the idea really there is just to kind of teach you how to mess around with it and build creatively, and then hopefully you build your own custom thing, like you break away from our base builds and you start really making something that's uniquely yours.
Right. But so for today, I've got what I'm calling the Lego game, which is basically like our eBay game, where I'm going to describe, because I was at the store the other day, and Lego makes, like, they've got, collaborations with so much stuff out there. Like, it's crazy. And so I'm on Lego's website. I've picked out a couple of kits. I'm going to read some descriptions, subtracting out a couple of key words that would give it away, and then give you like the price. And I want y'all to guess at what you think the item is.
Sounds cool.
All right. So first up here, we have create an eye-catching display with this beautiful Lego blank building kit. A perfect gift this season. Get my camera back on. Perfect gift this season. You can choose between building one or two, like one of these models, or 2 smaller of these models. and you can decorate your very own this thing with different types of things. So, sorry, it's going into details about that would give it away.
You just described
that's
every
the-
Lego kit ever manufactured, but go ahead.
It's the thing with the thing.
Display your finished build on the skirt that comes included for a beautiful centerpiece or tabletop decoration.
Okay.
I will say that the full kit, when you build the one version, it stands over 11 inches tall. And then if you build the two smaller versions of this, it stands over 6 inches tall. And this is it goes on sale for $44.99. Philip, what do you think?
So we're talking about centerpieces.
Yep, it's 784 pieces, ages 12 and up.
Thinking it's some sort of flower arrangement.
Okay, you're close.
You stole my guess. That was what I was going to say.
You're on the right track. Scott, do you have anything closer?
Closer to a flower arrangement.
You're in the ballpark.
So it's not a flower pot like with
No.
flowers and things like that. Okay. Is it plant?
Yes,
Are plants involved?
yes. That's what I'm saying. You're in the ballpark.
It's a terrarium of some kind? I don't know. That's
No,
all I can think of
I'll go
with
ahead and
plants.
show you. It's a Christmas tree.
Ah, okay.
That,
It's a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
We should have got that with skirt. Yeah, skirt.
Yeah.
That's why I was lingering on. Do I build a skirt? There is bonsai trees apparently. Rusted Beetle says in the chat. I found out that they do make Lego bonsai trees. All right. So I will for this next one. I'm going to give you a hint. This is an ideas kit. So it's built around a famous property. Ages 18 and up. 3,955 pieces. Comes with 5 minifigures. Make the holidays, so that gives you another keyword, as we're talking Christmas properties. Even more fun with the Lego ideas, blank. So you can, and I'll tell you this is based on a movie, recreate the memorable scene with blank. You've got room to explore. It's packed with details to recreate different scenes from this movie. And let's see. I'm trying to see what can I read that won't give it away.
Can I make a guess?
Yes, go for it.
I'm going to guess the Polar Express.
Polar Express. I mean, I gave it away with the Christmas movie, but no, it's in the ballpark of a Christmas movie, but no, not quite. Philip, you got any guesses?
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Santa's Village, at the North Pole.
No, not quite. I'll see. I'll kind of keep reading until if I can. Let me see if a customer review will help out.
When did the movie it's based on coming out?
90s. We'll say this is a 90s movie.
A 90s movie, huh?
Mhm. I will
90s movie, Christmas.
So it's not the Grinch.
Here, I'll read this part. This might give it away. It includes a light brick that illuminates the scary furnace.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
No.
Oh.
It includes a zip line to a backyard treehouse.
Is it a Home Alone thing?
It is a Home Alone house.
It's a Home Alone house.
$299.
Oh,
Yeah, you look at it and they've got like
wow.
all the different scenes that you can make in the movie. They even have the
Did
OK.
you get a Joe Pesci minifig?
Oh yeah, including
have a gold
the
tooth?
OK plumbing and heating truck.
Beetle Die Hard was in '88.
All right, we will we'll do one more. That one probably is not good. Now it's
we need the Lego Nakatomi Plaza. That's what we need.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it exists. All right, I'll do one last one. Just given who we've got on the show between you and Philip, I'm not gonna get, or I'll give it to you if you can just name the property this is based on, because you're not gonna get the actual figure. No. I'm saying, like, I could describe this all day and you would never guess the actual figure. But if you can give me the property it's based on, it's no.
Oh, okay. Well, takes all my answers.
So the set I've got here is it's not an ideas kit or anything. So this is an official kit. It's on back order right now. It's $99.99. So let you know that it's back order. So it's a popular property. Ages 10 and up, 954 pieces. Comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minifigs, looks like, because they don't tell you on the thing. These sets bring the fun offline. There's a hint there. They bring the fun offline where you can use imagination to build a world of unlimited possibilities.
I got 2 guesses.
All right.
What am I going to guess first? Let's guess Minecraft.
You're in the ballpark.
Fortnite.
Fortnite. It is Lego Fortnite.
I knew it was one or the other.
The battle bus. I had a feeling that was probably your other guess. Yeah, it's the battle bus. That even like the bus detaches.
Oh yeah, taking the adventure online.
Yep. So it's got everybody like flying out of the bus and then like once you've got everybody, you can detach the bus and everybody can hop aboard. Neopets, is that still a thing? Actually, yes. I think because like at Gen Con,
the website still exists.
Well, also at Gen Con they had like a Neopets card game.
Oh yeah.
I think I talked about it.
Still out there.
So, all right, that was. Go ahead.
No. That was awesome. The cool game.
All right, so that's what I need. I need Lego Halo because they had like the mini. Do you remember they had like the Mega Blocks Halo kits?
They still have them. Oh, they're still going. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think I have like a Spartan tank or somewhere I got to build and finally put together. But thank you, Scott, for coming on to the show. It has been a blast. Anything? Anywhere people should head to stay up on all things Snapships?
I mean, we're kind of everywhere. Jump in the Discord is a great place. People are always posting awesome new builds. They're, trying out new ways to play the game in there. And we've got tournaments and all kinds of fun stuff. So you can get there by just going to snapshiptactics.com and then clicking on community. And hope to see you there.
Awesome. Philip, I'm going to roll this beautiful beam footage.
And that's been our show. Once again, we want to thank Scott from Snapships for hanging out with us, putting up with all our shenanigans. If you like what you see, you got to check us out at boardswords.com/live. That's going to have the link to the streaming channel plus the schedule. /Patreon is going to take you to our Patreon where we've got a bunch of interesting and exciting things if you subscribe for us. And boardswords.com in general, it's got everything we've done in the past, and Chris has some random stuff on there. Read through it. It's all good stuff. Boardswords.com. Yep.
Send us feedback. Let us know who we need to talk to next. Email feedback@boardsandswords.com, @boardsandswordspod on Facebook, Twitter, or Blue Sky is where I'm at now. Blue Sky @boardsandswords, and boardsandswords.com for links to everything else like our Patreon. Check it out. Help support the show. 2 weeks puts us right before Thanksgiving, and I will be down in North Carolina. So in 3 weeks, we'll be back with Mark from LoreLink, which is something I discovered at Gen Con this year and reached out to them. So that'll be a really interesting interview. So in the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story, and this one snaps together. All right. Thank you so much, Scott.
Yeah, my pleasure. That was fun.
Yeah, and then so we'll shut down here in a sec. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream, and then for patron folks, we'll be in the Discord stage here in a little bit. So keep an eye out for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop the stream.